Today we're going to be going over powers and exponents. So this is your vocabulary. So what is an exponent? So the exponent is the amount of times the factor is being multiplied by itself. So this 2 represents how many times it's going to be multiplied. So that means that I have this 10, or the base is going to be multiplied twice. So 10 times 10. And those are our factors. And then the answer is our product or our value. And then a power is a number represented with the base and the exponent. So what is the power? The power is this whole thing, 10 to the second power. Let's go on to the next slide. So perfect squares are numbers that represent the squares of whole numbers. So it's basically a number to the second power. Okay, so these are all perfect squares. So 1 to the second power just means 1 times 1. Remember, the dot means multiplication, okay, to multiply, or 1 times 1. And then we have the next one, which is 2 squared, which means 2 times 2. I have 2 2s. This means I have 2 10s, so 10 times 10. And this one would be 5 times 5. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so we're going to write 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 using an exponent. So we need to identify the base. The base is the number that's being multiplied. So my base is 6. And the exponent, so we now need to identify the exponent, is how many times it's being multiplied. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my exponent will be 5. So it's going to be 6 to the 5th. How we write it is this 6 is the normal 6, and the 5 kind of goes up at the top right, and it's a little bit, it's smaller on that top right area. Let's go ahead and try this one. So let's identify our bases. What numbers do we have? Well, we have 3. Well, how many? So that will be a base. How many 3s do we have? We have 1, and here's another one, 2. So that's going to be my exponent. So 3 squared times, and then let's look at our other base. What is my other base? I have times 2, times 2, times 2. So 2 is my base. And how many 2's do I have? I have 3, so 2 to the 3rd. So really, it would look like 3 squared times 2 to the 3rd. And that is just using exponents. This next one is 5 squared. We need to write that as a product of the same factor. So we start with 5 squared, and then we need to find its value. So what is 5 squared? What are the factors? It just means 5 times 5. And then the value is just 25. Write 1.5 to the 3rd as a product of the same factor, then write the value. So I'm going to put 1.5 to the 3rd, and that means 1.5 times, as I put the eraser on, times 1.5 times 1.5. And when I multiply 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5 in my calculator, I get 3.375 would be my value. Okay? When it says as the same factor, all it means is to multiply the 1.5s together to show that, and then the value would be the answer. Let's do the 1/2. So write 1/2 to the 4th power as the product of the same factor. It is very important that you put the parentheses in there so we know that everything in the 1/2, so it's 1/2 that is being to the 4th power. Okay, so what does that mean? So write it as a factor, so 1/2 times 1/2. How many do I need? Yes, I need 4 of them. So what is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1? Well, that gives me 1. And then what is 2 times 2? Well, that's 4. So this would be 4. So what's 4 times 4? 16. So my value would be 1/16. Write 4 times 4 times 4 using an exponent. So this is the we try. You could probably do this on your own. So what's the base? Go ahead and find the base, and then find the exponent. So you should have gotten 4 to the third. Now we're going to use this as an exponent. Writing this as an exponent. This is a U try. So go ahead and pause it. Go ahead and see if you can figure out what goes in these boxes. So you should have gotten 5 to the first power times, don't forget this multiplication symbol, 2 to the third, right? We want everything using an exponent. So this 5 to the first power, you do need to write. So this is a U try. So go ahead and write it 2 to the third times 2 to the third times 2 to the third using an exponent. And then I want you to find its value. Go ahead and pause it now. All right. So you should have gotten 2 to the third. It's important to put the parentheses in there because sometimes it looks like that the 2 is just being cubed. So we need to make sure that the fractions are all the way put in the parentheses. Then you should have had what they gave us, so 2 to the third times 2 to the third times 2 to the third, and then we need to find the value of it. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So you should have gotten 8/27. And that is powers and exponents.